It is with a sense of sadness at the passing of an era that the elves of Lothlorien bid Bilbo farewell. He had arrived in the Golden Wood by a circuitous path, which began with a desire for one last grand adventure before he retired. Alas, his wish was not to be. The crafty old hobbit had instead found only danger, as he was kidnapped by spiders and carried off by their orcish allies. Rescued in the nick of time, Bilbo recovered his health under the watchful care of Celeborn and Galadriel. During the weeks that followed, Bilbo sat amongst the golden leaves and chatted with the many visitors who called upon him. Yet the time came at last for him to return to Rivendell, and so, with an escort of elven guardians, he set off toward his adopted home. Ever vigilant, the elves have turned their attention to the dark stirrings in nearby Mirkwood. Bilbo was not the only person abducted. Contact has been lost with entire villages, scattered within the great forest. Concerned with what dark portents these happenings might herald, Celeborn and Galadriel called you forth. As Bilbo's rescuers, they consider you particularly well-suited to find the answers that their scouts have been unable to uncover. You are commanded to set out for Rhosgobel, and there to seek the counsel of Radagast the Brown. The wizard should help shine a light on the shadowy events transpiring in darkest Mirkwood. You gather what you need quickly, and set out for the vales of Anduin and Rhosgobel beyond.
The mouth of Dol Guldur pondered his troubles. The mighty orc chieftain Uthag had suffered recent losses, but had recovered quickly. Despite the setback, he had not only made good on his quota, he exceeded it amply. Still, the desire from the south is insatiable. The order had come to increase their numbers even further. The mouth did not question his master, or his master's master. Indeed, he had no free will of his own. His master's command was his duty to obey. Considering his options, he comes to a conclusion. To obtain the numbers requested, they must go further afield from Dol Guldur. The mouth would need assistance if he was to misdirect any unwanted eyes that might take notice. He would need to set in motion other troubles that would distract the curious and lead them astray.
Perhaps an old terror.
He muses.
A forgotten terror. Yes.
He whispers.
This might suffice.
Your party spends several days crossing the Vale, basking in the gentle sunlight that warms the late spring air to caress the grasslands. The journey is uneventful, until you come across an odd scene. Ahead, you spy an eagle circling above something that has caught its eye. This is not one of the great eagles of legend, but rather a bedraggled thing with dark feathers and oddly curved wings. It calls out once before diving swiftly down upon something you cannot see. Quickening your pace, you soon discover a horrifying scene. Two bodies lie before you, bloody and torn. The craven eagle is attempting to make off with one. With the eagle distracted, a swarm of greedy rats darts from the underbush to devour the other. You must drive off the foul beasts and recover these poor souls. Perhaps you may also discover the nature of what slaughtered them in this clearing.
Elendil!
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
I shall claim full amends for every fall and stopped toe.
Rivendell!
Baruch Khazad! He cannot stand alone! I serve no man! My axe swings true! Baruch Khazad!
The presence of wolves beyond the borders of Mirkwood bodes ill for the people of the Vale. They did not appear to be starving beasts. Rather, they attacked with cunning and purpose. Something drives these creatures. Perhaps the Brown Wizard will have sorely needed answers. Barely have you continued on when you hear a distant howl from the hills beside your path. An answering howl sounds from behind you, and more beasts call out from all around. The wolves show great cunning and appear to be herding you, but for what purpose you know not.
Baruch Khazad!
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
stand alone!
Gul Zubard felt the hunger deep within her. It was not a hunger for flesh to nourish her body so much as an urge to devour and destroy. Bidden though she was by the servants of the One, she was only too eager to drive her children forth so they might succumb to their baser nature, to revel in destruction, to consume.
The wolves close behind, you reach the eaves of Mirkwood at last. So near to Rhosgobel, you fear the worst for the wizard who dwells there. But you'll never make it to that place of sanctuary if you do not stop your pursuers first. While the trees offer some cover, they will also slow your progress. Within the woods, the wolves can easily surround you and attack from all sides. You must make your stand here if you are to survive the day. The wolves snarl and prowl through the undergrowth to encircle you. Taking advantage of this scant moment of respite, you gather nearby sticks, rocks, and other detritus to create a last desperate barrier against imminent attack.
Rivendell!
Hammer and tongs! I serve no man. He cannot stand alone.
How may I serve?
Serve no man.
Our history shall be preserved.
He cannot stand alone!
My arrow flies!
I serve no man!
creature called the Ghost hesitates for a moment at the edge of the tree line. Concealed behind lush vegetation, she spies upon the dwelling in the center of the clearing. There was power here. The crafty old beast had learned to respect power, especially the kind of power that might cause her injury. Her faithful companions prowl nearby, as always. They would offer their own lives if needed to protect their mistress. Each looks toward her, sensing her hesitation, seeking her guidance. With a grunt, the Ghost at last indicates the compound. As her master had commanded, so it would be done. It is time to feed.
Oh, Calamity. You've defeated the pursuing wolves, only to find Rhosgobel under siege by many more, and led by a great beast larger than the rest, but with the look of something far more sinister. This is no simple wolf, or even warg, but one of the great beasts of old that inhabits their form. A werewolf. 2 great wargs protect the creature, hewing close to its side. As they turn to face you, the rest of the pack charges the gates of Rhosgobel, their claws gouging into the rough-hewn wood. You know not if the wizard is in residence, but it's clear the beasts are driven by a singular need to enter the compound within. You must prevent these creatures from breaking down the gate while holding off their terrifying leader. No mean task. The great werewolf howls in challenge, and you unleash a rallying cry in return. The battle is joined.
by the beasts and the birds!
He cannot stand alone!
The beast howls with a mixture of pain and anger, eyes flashing as it comprehends defeat. Summoning unknown reserves of strength, the werewolf leaps into the trees and disappears through the darkness. You join your companions to catch your breath as Radagast the Brown staggers through the gates of Roscabel. Breathing heavily, he calls out,
"Ah, my friends! I thank you for coming to my aid. Though that creature is not dead, it shall not return any time soon."
Before you can make any inquiries or describe the nature of your mission, the eccentric old man darts off towards a small path in the trees.
"There's no time to dally about on my front lawn,"
he shouts.
"This was just a distraction. There's a village nearby whose residents are in jeopardy."
He pauses at the tree line, turning back to face you.
"Don't just stand there with your mouths agape. Hurry!"
The wizard disappears into the trees, and you scramble to follow.
The body of the beast falters. Yet though her breath comes in laboured gasps, the vile fire that drives her remains undimmed. The master will not be pleased. Still, this is a worry for the future. For now, the hunger remains. Perhaps she could find some local hunter or woodsman, or even a wretched goblin to sate her never-ending need. Yes, the master will not miss one or two of those foul creatures. Licking her wounds, the silver ghost slips deeper into Mirkwood, driven ever on by her need to consume. Ulfthek hurries his soldiers along as they whip the terrified villagers into quickening their pace. He looks them over as they run.
"Too scrawny,"
he mutters to himself. But the mouth of Dol Guldur demands more prisoners, so more prisoners he will provide. Ulfthek fears little, and even if he did fear something, he would not show it in front of his orcs. Still, the Master's dark servant makes him nervous, and the Master himself is terrifying. Both want more prisoners, no matter the cost. Ulfthek knows he hasn't won any special favors from his recent successes, he won't spare the whip to meet their demands. Ulfthak glances back down the trail. Master had warned that he must cover his tracks, lest their efforts be discovered. Ulfthak left some goblin wretches behind to burn the village. With luck, the chaos and damage will obscure their path to the old dwarf mine, where this latest catch will join the rest.
Despite his seemingly advanced age, the wizard maintains a quick pace that you're hard-pressed to match. The path he cuts through the dense forest gives way suddenly to a large clearing and a village beyond. But the village is aflame. As screams erupt inside the buildings, you see creatures darting to and fro between the ramshackle structures, torches in hand. They giggle in glee as the buildings alight.
Tend to the fires!
Radagast calls to you. He darts past the village, disappearing into the clouds of smoke. One of your companions spies a water trough in the middle of town. You must act quickly if you hope to douse the flames and save those who are trapped inside.
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
I will go and look on the halls of Durin. My lord Denethor!
For Rivendell!
He cannot stand alone! He cannot stand alone! Ah!
For Rivendell!
We'll feast on horse flesh yet, or something better.
He cannot stand alone!
I shall aid you, my liege.
For Rivendell!
I serve no man. Hammer and...
As you douse the last of the flames, a soot-covered Radagast reappears with a handful of small children and some elders who hid them.
Goblins?
The strange old man shouts before coughing up ash.
This close to Roscabel? Unthinkable! And they've taken most of the villagers prisoner. I'll tend to this lot. You must find and rescue the others.
The brown wizard stares at you expectantly, eyes gleaming.
Off with you now! Those villagers won't rescue themselves.
He points to the edge of the clearing, revealing a faint trail that leads to the northeast. Thanks to Radagast's aid, you can make out the subtle signs of a group being led away, but following the trail won't be easy. With a nod to your companions, you head down the meager track. Hopefully the villagers have not gotten far. You dread the thought of rushing headlong once more into the dark forest of Mirkwood. There are things in that forest, beyond spiders and orcs, and you have no wish to blunder into them.
Caution is called for.
Mirror is in my hands no longer. I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me.
This way! Welcome to Rivendell.
I'll make you squeak, you miserable rat!
dwarves are upon you! Barakazad!
For Rivendell!
Run him down.
Barakazad! Ah!
My eyes see everything.
Ulfthek arrives at last with his vanguard at the doors of Nibeldoom. The dwarves mined out this place many centuries ago. Abandoned and forgotten long since, it is the perfect place from which to manage his operation. The Orc chieftain orders the prisoners to be taken to the cells in the lower depths, there to await transfer to Dol Guldur. With that out of the way, he calls to Thog, one of his trusted lieutenants. Trust being a relative term amongst orcs.
I got a job for you.
Ulfthek tells the huge orc warrior.
Someone is on our trail. I can smell them. I don't like being followed. Take some lads to greet them.
Thog smiles, hefting the oversized cleaver he uses for a weapon. He loves swinging it and looks forward to the work.
You boys,
He shouts to a cluster of orcs milling about.
come with me. It's time for us to chop.
It isn't easy, but you manage to follow the orcs' trail. They kept up an astonishing pace, considering they were herding prisoners along. The path leads towards the mountains of Mirkwood, which loom black and foreboding over you. The dense trees thin until you reach the edge of a clearing before a hill, into which is carved a doorway of dwarven design. From the look of it, this must have been a small mine that has long since been emptied and abandoned. The faint signs of the Orcs' passage leads to the entrance. The air here is still, blanketed with a strange hush. It's much too quiet to be anything but a trap. Someone, or something, awaits your approach. Alas, before you can take action, a horn rings out, joined by several others. Orcs burst from cover all around, beating their chests as they form a ring around your party. Then a huge orc steps forth. With a massive cleaver in his hands and a gleam in his eye, he urges his fellows to attack.
My axe swings too. Baruch Khazad!
How may I serve?
Rivendell!
Farewell.
For the White City!
None shall enter.
Much as you wish to rest after dispatching the Great Orc, there's little time to linger. After examining the area around the hill carefully, you confirm that the trail you've been following leads directly into the mine. You must explore its depths if you are to abide the strange wizard's behest and rescue the villagers. Shaking off fatigue, you light torches and prepare to enter. The ancient door that once sealed the mine has long since been broken and lays to the side in 2 great pieces. You have no idea what perils you will face within, yet you have no choice but to enter this place and find out. You stumble about inside the abandoned mine of Nibindoom. Once a thriving dwarven mine in ages past, it is now little more than a maze of winding passages and damp caves. You feel the weight of the hill pressing down, as whispers in a dark tongue echo through the labyrinth. You advance with caution through shadowed passages, the sense of danger growing with every step.
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
I will go and look on the halls of Durin. Don't stand there slavering! Get your rabble together!
I am a servant of the secret fire.
You wish you were dead already.
He cannot stand alone!
Baruch Khazad!
Welcome to Rivendell.
You follow the dim flicker of light to a rough-hewn chamber deep within Nibn Doom. It's clear that your quarry has chosen this as their lair, based on the crude furniture and ragged skins scattered about, and the orcs who surge to their feet as you enter. Several move to protect their leader, a familiar creature you remember from your recent adventure with Bilbo. While you square off, the chieftain chortles something in black speech. The other orcs chuckle and snort, as you're evidently the butt of some joke. Though you don't know why the orcs are abducting these people, defeating the leader should halt the raids terrorizing the lands around Mirkwood, even if only briefly. First, however, you must get past his guards. The brutes stand ready, as if daring you to make the first move. Before you can act, cries erupt from the tunnel as a swarm of goblins joins the fray.
Oh, well.
I serve no man.
The dwarves are upon you.
I serve no man. Alone.
My eyes see everything. Passes unnoticed.
You stumble about inside the abandoned mine of Nibindoom, once a thriving dwarven mine in ages past. It is now little more than a maze of winding passages and damp caves. You feel the weight of the hill pressing down, as whispers in a dark tongue echo through the labyrinth. You advance with caution through shadowed passages, the sense of danger growing with every step. Following the faintest gleam of light, you enter a rough-hewn chamber illuminated by a single candle. In the flickering of its last feeble rays, you make out a series of darkened alcoves along the walls. Crude sets of iron bars secured with thick ropes stand before each opening. Within the makeshift cells, the pathetic forms of emaciated prisoners reach out to you for help. Just then, the candle's light sputters out, plunging the room into utter darkness. A woman's scream echoes in the dark, and some creature chutters in response. The frenzied patter of fast-moving feet and guttural jabber of foul speech erupts from all around. Goblins! As the chamber descends into chaos, you're torn between an obligation to save the prisoners and the desire to simply stay alive. You could swear that you hear Radagast shout,
"Free them all! Hurry!"
But you left him in the village far away, so it cannot possibly be his voice. Can it?
My Lord Denethor!
For Rivendell!
There's no time to kill them properly.
Kill him quick! Kill him now! There!
Barakazad!
Yakari hey!
He cannot stand alone! He cannot stand alone!
Baruch Khazad!
No man!
I'll put an arrow in your guts!
Hammer and...
For the master!
For Rivendell!
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark. My arrow flies!
He cannot stand alone! My Lord Denethor!
Leg it double quick! Baruch Khazad!
For Rivendell!
He cannot stand alone!
For Rivendell!
Radagast awaits as you exit the mines, with food and warm clothing for the freed prisoners. You don't know how he managed to arrive so quickly, laden with such bounty, for the ways of wizards are mysterious indeed. Still, you are no less thankful. As they fill their bellies and don new clothes, the prisoners speak of their rough handling by the orcs. They were taken from all over southern Mirkwood. Some were from villages like the one near Roscobel, while others were woodsmen or farmers eking out a living along the forest edge. A handful were captive for quite some time. They describe how the orcs took a number of prisoners each week to Dol Guldur, but for what purpose they cannot say. Radagast spits upon the ground.
The Necromancer's Tower. Dark magic in that place.
He looks off, lost in thought.
Very dark. There's no time to waste,
he tells you.
You must scout the tower to uncover its secrets. I'll join you there after I take these people back to Roscobel.
Ulfthak lost track of the hours spent feeling his way through utter darkness. Though gravely wounded in the battle, he had survived. He'd lain still as a corpse to convince his foes that he was, in fact, dead. He then waited, willing his mind to ignore the pain, driven by something even stronger, the need to survive. Snig squirms with worry. The goblin knows the master's moods, and his mood is dark indeed. It is always Snig who pays the price at such times. In this case, it was Snig's duty to report that the pit at Nibn Doom was discovered and Ulfthak failed to deliver the latest supply of subjects. The mouth of Dol Guldur turns towards Snig. The goblin recoils as their eyes meet, the flames in his master's eyes flaring, then cooling to a malevolent stare. Snig senses that he had hovered very near death, or worse. Only his master's immense self-control has spared him. The mouth speaks. His words are breathy frost that matches his icy tone.
Double the patrols around the tower,
he rasps.
If they found the pit, they may come here next.
Then the mouth smiles.
And if they do, perhaps we will yet give my master what he wants.
The mouth's eyes flare again, this time with a pleasure that Snig finds somehow even more terrifying.
You have journeyed several days to the south. Having skirted the edge of the East Bight through the Narrows, you venture on towards the Hill of Sorcery, the tower at Dol Guldur. You made good time, encountering nothing but the occasional raven, fox, or deer. As you draw ever nearer the tower, the woods grow thicker, and a darkness settles over both the trees and your mood. If orcs hold this place once more, there will be patrols ahead. You must find your way past them if possible, through them if needs be. Radagast told you of secret ways into the tower, but you must examine its surroundings carefully to find them. This will not be easy if the enemy occupies the tower walls. You move ahead with your companions, maintaining a stealthy approach so as to escape notice, knowing full well that it's unlikely you will make it to the tower without being seen. Still, you are resolved to try.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
My axe is less in my hands. to. May I command?
He cannot stand alone!
Steady now. Find the halfling!
He cannot stand alone!
Let's have some fun. Hammer and
My eyes see everything.
You'll wish you're dead already.
Is in my hands no longer.
none shall enter.
There they are!
Where are we going next?
The Shire! Baruch Khazar!
The Eye commands.
Find the halfling!
Our history shall be preserved.
The mouth of Dol Guldur bows deeply.
I await your will, my master.
The pale, emaciated creature being addressed sits upon a low stone chair at the end of the great gallery, lost in his own thoughts. Despite a frail appearance, the thing that was once man radiates immense power. A power in which the mouth of Dol Guldur revels and from which he draws strength. In turn, the thing sometimes called the Black Easterling draws his own power from the one true master in the south. When he speaks, he does so with the master's will. The creature's lips, which have the impossibly dry look of a corpse, part as he speaks in a harsh, low whisper that carries throughout the large chamber.
Experiments have been successful, but they are now at an end.
He declares,
Prepare space for one last batch for those that approach our walls.
The mouth of Dol Guldur nods, spreading his hands in acquiescence to his lord's will. If the so-called heroes do reach Dol Guldur, they will simply join its ranks.
You stand in the shadow of Armonlank, the hill upon which rests the fortress tower of Dol Guldur. You've managed to approach this far undetected. It's clear that the tower is inhabited once more. You spy goblins here and there amongst the ancient stone walls, and strange lights flicker in the windows. The tower looks imposing and decrepit all at once. Lines of decay mark the strong stone walls, and cracks large and small mar the otherwise finely crafted surface. Recalling Radagast's advice, you begin to circle the hill, looking for the best way in. After all, you can't simply march up to the front gate and demand entrance. A short time later, you spy some promising options, but must examine them more closely. Quietly and oh so carefully, you make your way up the hill.
Come on!
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
My axe swings true.
Snig watches from his usual perch amongst the shelves as the mouth of Dol Guldur speaks a final phrase over the last of the fonts gathered before him. The library is a sanctuary for the mouth. It connects him to the one true master for whom this place was once a laboratory and sanctum for the same dark magics that the mouth uses now. Though he is nowhere near the sorcerer that the master is, the mouth has learned much here, poring over notes written in the master's own hand so very long ago. The mouth ponders his own existence in service of what once seemed an endless line of masters. He had risen in the ranks slowly, taking careful advantage of opportunities as they appeared, so that he might someday serve the one true master. Now, he serves one who is himself but a single step removed. He had come far. The faintest of footfalls brings him out of his musings.
Sneak.
He smiles.
I believe we have guests.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark. My arrow flies!
Soon all land without shadow.
Varukazad! Hammer and tongs! For Rohan!
Rivendell!
You move with utmost stealth through a jumble of halls and chambers, stopping in the shadows here and there to let the occasional guard pass by. A sense of doom is ever present in these darkened halls, as if the very walls are pressing down to crush your will. Strange muffled sounds echo in the distance. You feel drawn toward them, toward the center of the tower. You blunder into a large chamber so dark that you cannot see past your small party. This room bears the unmistakable mark of evil. You shiver from head to toe, overcome by a sudden chill. Then a flash alights the chamber with painful brilliance. You find yourself in a grand gallery, at the end of which stands an imposing figure in dark, tattered robes. You tremble in terror before the Wraith. And he's not alone. Scores of creatures, including what appear to be some sort of spirits or shades themselves, howl in triumph as the trap is sprung.
I serve the steward!
Maggot holes in your head.
I am a servant of the secret fire. Go back to the shadow.
Passes unnoticed.
Let's have some fun.
Welcome to Rivendell. Welcome to Rivendell.
For Rivendell!
Though you fight valiantly, it becomes clear that this was a losing battle from the start. Khamûl, the Lord of Dol Guldur, is a being of tremendous power. More than a match for you and your companions. Your party defeated, the creatures of the tower drag you to to the lower depths for some sinister purpose. Though beaten, you are not bowed. While you know not what comes next, you know that there is still hope. With hope, you will find a way forward. The guttural sounds of black speech startle you awake. As your eyes adjust to the dimly lit chamber, you discover that you are held down by